Hey guys, Desolator Magic here. It's time to resume the story because Chapter 3 from the Amonkhet storyline has just been released. These prologues are so terrible, I have to read them in this format. On our last episode of Dragon Ball Z, the city of Noctamoon is too perfect to be real. It is glistening and immaculate, and its citizens are young and full of faith. Determined to uncover Nicol Bolas's intentions with the plane, Nissa and Chandra explored the city in search of answers. What they find challenges every assumption they had about Amonkhet. Okay, slight pause here. None of that happened. Not one damn word of that happened. What the hell kind of prologue? It even says previous episode trust, which I read and made a video on. None of that happened. Is there a section of the Wizards of the Coast company that actually has its crap together? Because card design, R&D, marketing, PR, whoever the hell runs their Twitter, and now the story writing, none of them can get it together. Oh my god. I'm going to make up my own prologue. They found a way into the city, even though there was a barrier around it. They broke a hole in it. The flying bird dude was real happy about that. Then they went and met the leader dude of one of the areas. He was like, "You're suspicious, but whatever. I'll show you around." And then they tried to fit in, and Jace used mind tricks to say exactly what they needed to say. Got him a free hotel room stay. Wish I could do that. So in the city, it turns out almost nobody has a legit job to do. They're all just training and doing gymnastics and crap, working out, getting totally wrecked all day. And that, of course, is because they trained the undead to do all of their manual labor in pretty much every job. That's right, the undead came into their city, took all the jobs, and put them all out of business. And it actually worked out. Haha, take that, you redneck racists. So the main questions we were left with was, what's going on with this city? Why is it so nice if this whole plane was either destroyed and recreated by Nicol Bolas or created from scratch by Nicol Bolas? They're not really sure which. And, also, where the heck is he? And on top of it, why are there gods on the plane? Divine beings on this plane, that's not something Nicol Bolas would have done, so why do they exist? So Gideon went to go talk with the cat god. It's some dumb Egyptian name. I nicknamed it Mittens, and that's what I remember, so let's go with Mittens. And then some crazy lady went shouting through the streets saying that the trials are a lie, the gods are a lie, blah, 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 blah. Something about Nicol Bolas coming back would be bad. I think she gets it. And that's where they left off. So, no idea what that prologue was about. Probably honestly foreshadowing, not even foreshadowing, literally stating word for word what is going to happen in this story. That's not foreshadowing. That's just stating what's going to happen in the story. There really isn't a term for that. Okay, give me a second here because I don't actually know what manner of thing I'm reading at the beginning of this actual story. It's all in italics, and it's hold on. Okay, I got through all this impossible to comprehend BS, and it was Nissa having a dream. So Nissa's all into the mana flow of the world and all that crap. So she's like, oh, the world seems sick or something, and there's definitely something wrong with the green mana, because the whole plane is a crap hole. So apparently, I couldn't make heads or tails of this damn poetic crap that they wrote. I guess she was talking to the mana spirit of the world or something like that, kind of like the Soul of Zendikar, which never actually became a card. So apparently Nicol Bolas really messed with this plane. That's kind of the vibe I got from it. He came in and stole something. Now, well, first they say there's the curse of wandering, which means if something dies and it's not immediately decomposed, it will rise again. That's the curse of wandering. So that's why there's so much undead, and that's why in the chapter 1, why when they killed the worms, they came back. So apparently it would seem that before Nicol Bolas showed up, this soul of the world or whatever was in charge of protecting the vessels of the dead to keep their souls alive, and I don't know, it was in some kind of cavern or chamber or something, catacomb, really, really, really deep below the ground. But then Nicol Bolas stole them, and now the world's mad. It's either the world or the soul of the mana or whatever, it's something, who knows. Or it was a really significant person. Perhaps the mythic that we haven't seen spoiled yet, because there is one more. I don't know. Reading this, it's ooh, we're generating mysteries. Look at us. We're Lost the series. People freaking hated Lost. They only kept watching it because they had to. When you generate more mysteries and no answers, it just pisses people off and makes your story bad, okay? Get a clue, wizards. If you don't even know who's talking or what the hell they're talking about, it's not like, ooh, how mysterious, okay, wait to see how it turns out. It's just like, I don't know what the hell's happening. This story pisses me off. It's a fine line between style and suspense and what the hell's going on, and they're miles away from that line. Anyway, when Nissa wakes up, she says Amonkhet was old, grieving, and desperately frightened. Yeah, Nicol Bolas came and wrecked everything. I mean, what the hell did you expect? Plus, deserts frickin' suck. By the way, this is as good a time as any. Word is, Wizards edited Chapter 2 to make it seem way less lesbian. Apparently there was a line that even I thought seemed a little bit off between, what was it, Nissa and, I don't remember, Chandra or some dumb thing. Okay, first of all, people are getting sick and tired, no matter what side of the moral argument they're on, of having SJW crap shoved in their face, okay? SJWs have ruined diversity, as they call it. They've ruined it. We are sick and tired of stupid liberal companies from the coasts shoving this crap in our face. Here, let me run the calculations. 5 members of the Gatewatch currently in this story, 3% of people are gay or lesbian. That would mean that, let me do the math real quick. Not 2 people would be lesbians. No, 2 people would be 40%. Overrepresentation, forcing it. It's just like all those fake ads from the 80s where you had to have one person of every ethnicity in your ad or you were suddenly racist. Or basically the Pepsi ad that Pepsi just pulled, which, by the way, had 0 ugly people, 0 fat people, and 0 disabled people in it. Oh, and protesting is basically just tailgating right now. And also, you have to have come straight from the Gap. What the hell is this video about? So anyway, they made it seem way less lesbian because they finally realized that they are literally doing nothing other than generating bad controversy and losing customers, pissing people off, and getting bad PR. I can't believe I'm saying it, but Wizards got a damn clue for once. Holy crap. And then everybody and their grandma's making a video about how they changed it to cover it up. Streisand effect. By the way, if you're totally not going to go read this yourself, I got to give you an excerpt just so you know how flowery and fluffy and completely lacking in any kind of substance these short stories are. Really more of a novel kind of thing. The morning light spilled through the window. The larger sun rose, illuminating the linens around her bed with gauzy, drowsy glow. It was clean, warm, and the air smelled of soft desert morning, but the tightness in Nissa's chest wouldn't ease. Perhaps topside, it was worth a try. Need I remind you, they're on the 2nd floor of a hotel right now. She closed her eyes and silently called out to the soul of the world. I don't know what kind of half-British, half-asleep that was, but this story is awful. Also, my allergies are really bad. I'm actually eating just a plain tortilla right now. I don't even know why. Tortillas just look really good. I should do audiobook readings, you guys. Okay, I can summarize the next couple lines, okay? Nissa's like, piss off, soul of the world, or whatever. I don't care. I can't deal with your crap right now. Yes, clearly you're messed up. Not my problem. So Nissa's like, hey, Chandra, wake up. I want to go look for that lady that got arrested on the streets for saying everything was fake, because that makes sense. Literally the polar opposite of what Jace told them to do. Also, they notice Gideon's missing, probably because he went to go see Mittens. And then she was like, I want to go some breakfast first. And then, boom, white mummy burst through the door carrying a tray of breakfast foods. Kind of rude, but then again, kind of like right exactly on time and intuitive. So I'm not sure what I would rate that on, the hell would TripAdvisor? Yelp? So the girls are like, oh my God, dead person, oh my God. And then they woke up Jace, and then they're just like, oh, he's here to bring us breakfast. My bad, sorry. Oh, the mummy brought in some beer too, because it's 8 a.m. I'm starting to think that the people of whatever the hell Ville this is called, we'll just say Egypt, they're kind of alcoholics. So they walk around, they notice everybody's already up out of bed, jogging, training, and apparently there's a 6-year-old on a bench press getting spotted by an 8-year-old. Naturally, Nissa leans toward Chandra and says, this is weird. They also notice that pretty much nobody they see appears to be much older than 20. I think at a certain age you have to go through like the trials or whatever, and it sounds like it has a high lethality rate. We're talking like, well, either some weird Children of the Corn crap is going on, or basically like the Hunger Games. So as they're walking, Nissa starts to feel lightheaded, sick, nauseous, all that crap, and it's probably because, the whole soul of the world, mana, mesh network, whatever, all that crap. It's like, oh my god, Nissa, I'm so sick. And she's like, shut up, I'm trying to walk. Well, then, of course, they threw this in. Nowhere else I'd rather be, Chandra fiddled with the straps on her van brace, her eyes darting in Nissa's direction. An involuntary smile flitted across her face, a blush, an inescapable dash of sentiment. Yeah, they're lezzing out. So eventually they come across a big old monument that's been there for quite a while, it looks like. And apparently sitting on top of it is some big old sphinx. So they're like, oh, we should totally talk to this bro. But apparently some vizier hat wearing crazy snake lady talked to them first, and they're like, oh, hey, what's up? So then they're like, actually, we wanted to talk to the Sphinx, not your weird self. And she's like, oh, well, unfortunately, the Sphinxes were gifted with infinite knowledge, but cursed with the same dismal fate. And they're like, what? She's like, oh, they all got laryngitis at the same time. You know, it sounds like something I would make up. No, literally, that's what it says. And then they're like, what? And then she goes, haha, just kidding. It's just a prank, bro. And then she reveals that they actually just took a vow of silence until the God Pharaoh's return, aka Nicol Bolas. And then she says, luckily for us, that's quite soon. So, interesting development. So she does kind of break down the whole, I don't know, underpinnings of their society, I guess you would say. Whenever somebody dies, they mummify them, and then the mummy, like, does manual labor, and then they think that the person kind of didn't really die because their soul is still in the mummy, but it kind of sucks that they didn't complete the 5 trials. And then they said there's no worse fate than, having somebody's body die and decay outside of the city, because then there's absolutely nothing left. Sounds like some crap Nicol Bolas made up. So then she tells them, hey, you might want to enter into the trials while you can, even though there's going to be a big rush, basically like a Black Friday situation. Otherwise, Nicol Bolas is coming back in just days. Hello. By the way, specifically July 14th, 2017, that's when Hour of Devastation is released. I couldn't help myself. And then she says, but hey, if you don't want to join into the big rush, then you might just, wait until the hours, whatever the hell that is. And of course, as soon as she says that, oh, here we go again. Just like every time I go to Walmart at 2 a.m., some crazy lady comes screaming out of the crowd, free yourselves, don't believe the lies of the hours. Dude, this reminds me of the last time there was like protesters out protesting some stupid crap and they were all clearly mentally deranged. I'm just like walking around, jumping Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi, and they're like, oh, you want to pick up a sign and protest with us? I'm like, I'm here to catch Pokemon, piss off. Seriously, that actually happened. So, no joke, apparently nobody addresses or acknowledges the crazy screaming lady. No guards come out and tackle her immediately. They just keep talking to this lady. I told you, the authors, they're not good. Anyway, the hours, it turns out, is literally the hours after the God Pharaoh's return. It's the moment they've all been waiting for through all of history, blah, 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 blah. It's going to happen when the sun rests exactly between the giant horns that they keep seeing off in the distance. They say it'll be any day now. And then Chandra says, and I quote, you hear, with an apostrophe, you hear that, Nissa, the God Pharaoh returns any day now. How about that? Okay, they wrote how about that, but I'm going to pronounce it, how about that? Catch Nicol Bolas outside, how about that? So Nissa's being like the realist out of all them. She's like, oh good, only a couple days before we fight a giant dragon planeswalker with absolutely no plan. Flip the table, Nissa. That's what I do when Nicol Bolas comes out. And then Crazy Vizier Lady's like, hey, stop by Ronus's monument if you want a quick poison-making lesson. I'm always happy to share. And then Chandra and Nissa are like, bye, Crazy Lady. Oh, and then, of course, she gave the traditional we're leaving phrase, which is compete with valor. Apparently, that's like their vaya con Dios or something. So as they walk away and they sit on one of the steps to the monument, they just say 2 days. Yep, 2 days. So apparently somehow between any day now, I don't know when, and walking down the steps, they were like exactly precisely 2 days. No idea how they worked that out. The story sure as hell doesn't say. Oh, I just reread it and apparently I misinterpreted it. They weren't like listening to a second crazy screaming lady from the crowd. They were remembering the crazy screaming lady from the previous day. They really didn't make that clear. And also I suck at reading, and also my eyes are like going freaking crazy with allergies. Also, I'm all out of tortillas. No puedo cocinar más quesadillas hoy. Crazy Snake Lady was like, hey, you should talk to Kefnet to learn all about the trials and our entire fake religion. He's good with questions. So they're like, yeah, we should probably do that. Oh, and also Kefnet is apparently a female, and I think I just said he. Did I just assume her gender? I am such a misogynist. So Nissa like used her telepathic Dragon Ball radar to like go find Kefnet, and they're like, oh, she's by the monument. Let's head over. So they start walking and they find themselves in a way older part of the city because the buildings are, I don't know, built out of limestone instead of sandstone or something. I don't know. I breezed over it. And very interesting. A lot of the pictoglyphs, as they call them, hieroglyphics, whatever, freaking cave paintings, they showed like elderly people and like grandmothers and families. I don't know how they got that out of it. I think it's just convenient for the story. But yeah, no old people around in the current, the hell's the name of this damn place? Oh, Naktamun. I'm just going to keep calling it Egypt, and I'm going to keep calling the kitty god Mittens. But here's the interesting thing. Above the people were etched the Amonkhet pantheon, aka the gods. There's 8 of them, not 5 of them. Ooh, Hour of Devastation. Little spoiler there. We might see 3 additional gods make a little bit of a comeback in HOD. Unfortunately, all we get is a description that they're mammals, birds, and reptiles, but apparently they're equally confused. They're like 8 of them? So anyway, it looks like the whole Nicol Bolas horn sigil thing was added after the fact, above all the pictures and crap. So they're starting to get the impression that he didn't actually create the world, he just showed up there and wrecked everything. So then, because plot, because story, I'd say because movie, but thank God it's not a movie, Nissa's like, oh, I just suddenly know right now out of nowhere that the world is nearly dead because Nicol Bolas wrecked everything, but it was killed only decades before. So then it turns out the boxes, as they put it, are actually sarcophaguses, or sarcophagi is the correct term. And then they somehow just come across Gideon. He's being followed by giant kitty god Mittens, aka Oketra, but I like Mittens better. And so Mittens, she says, with telepathy apparently, you spoke with this land, Nissa Worldwaker. Actually, I think it's like Nissa something else on this card that they just spoiled yesterday. And so then she thought back at her, yeah, your world is dying and afraid. Nice place, bro. And then Mittens suddenly looked scared and didn't respond. So, like, apparently that's news to her. And then Mittens changes the topic and she's like, sorry, the sarcophagi are forbidden to approach. You have to let them be. So I do believe that the ancient pharaohs from before Nicol Bolas showing up were buried underground in the crypt that Nissa was dreaming about. And they were supposed to stay there, but Nicol Bolas resurrected them and now the world's kind of pissed. And so then they're like, yeah, we could do that. And Mittens is like, thank you for your understanding, travelers. I cannot convey my appreciation for your cooperation. Please stay on the line and one of our operators will be with you shortly. So they suddenly determine out of almost nothing, because this story is just, it's just terrible. Mittens existed before Nicol Bolas showed up, so maybe she'll know what's up. So just to kind of poke at the issue, who was it that asked that? I think it was Nissa. This seems more like something Chandra would rudely blurt out. Nope, it was Nissa. Just reread it. She said, what happened to the other 3 gods? You know, the ones we haven't met yet or heard about or heard anything about anywhere ever. And Oketra's like, what? I have no memory of before. And then they say, before what? And she goes, I don't know. I do not know what I do not know. It's an unknown unknown. So it would seem that Nicol Bolas erased their memories. So then Mittens is like, hey, Gideon, let's go to the next trial. Oh, boy. And Chandra's like, you're competing in the trials? And Gideon's like, yeah, of course. And so, like, 1, he's like, these gods are good at their core. I want to prove myself to them. And then 2, he signed a $6 million 2-year contract with the Green Bay Packers. I mean, who could turn that down even if you're new in town? I mean, come on. So Chandra's still like, oh, Gideon, you shouldn't be doing that because Nicol Bolas created the gods. And so a little bit later, Nissa's like, no, it would seem that somehow for literally no freaking reason, I now know for a fact that Nicol Bolas corrupted the world and it already existed before. Oh my God, what if it turns out we were on Dominaria the whole time? Oh my God. Because everybody kept saying we got to return to the plane of Dominaria because it has never been returned to since like a long freaking time ago, like 19 plus years ago or something like that. Actually, I thought Urza was from there. I don't know. Ask Saibon. He knows that kind of crap. What if Nicol Bolas renamed it Amonkhet and it was actually Dominaria the whole time? Well, except now it's not because he freaking wrecked it, turned it into a desert, killed almost everybody, and left just one city living. Oh, busted it wide open. You're welcome, wizards. Eat it. Actually, I would be way happier if this was actually Kamigawa. Although I feel like neither of them are terribly likely. Like, it would be so funny. Like, we finally returned to Kamigawa, but without telling anybody because people would just complain about it because Kamigawa is such a garbage set. But we kind of took a giant dump on the plane and turned it into one giant desert full of undead and horrible, horrific creatures. Why? Because screw Kamigawa. It had it coming. But anyway, yeah, if this was Dominaria, why would they have, like, pre-existing Egyptian civilization that just coincidentally was never mentioned in any of the Dominaria lore that I've ever heard of, which is none, by the way? I don't know. It would be a stretch, but just don't be surprised. I just have a feeling that that's where they're going. And so Nissa explains, there's old buildings, there's new buildings. All the old ones clearly had the sigil added after the fact, so it looks like he only showed up just a couple decades ago based on the architectural aging. And Chandra starts heating up the air around her, basically going Super Saiyan, and yeah. So Chandra's like, wait a minute, there's not any old people here either. Did he just arrive and basically kill everybody? And Nissa's like, when I spoke with the plane last night, more like had a trippy dream, I sensed a terrible scar. Basically the whole Jedi, I sense a disturbance in the Force kind of thing. That's right, all the Planeswalkers are actually Jedis. Cross over the Star Wars universe. Next set's going to be Star Wars set. Calling it right now. X-Page leaked it early. Thumbs up if you got that reference. So then Chandra's like, oh my god, we need to find out what he changed, because if he just swooped in here and made himself a god for no reason, or some reason, and then, we got to find out what he changed so we can change it back, which makes no sense logically. They actually just showed up to kill him. Who cares about this crap hole of a plane? And then Nissa's like, we can't change anything ourselves. That would make us as bad as he is, which literally makes not one damn ounce of sense logically. Oh, let's fix their history for them and get them back on track with their old culture since before Nicol Bolas showed up. No, that would make us as bad as him. What the hell are you talking about, you crazy elf lady? This is some of the worst writing I've ever read in my entire life, and I've probably read about 1,000 books. And then they go all like frickin' X-Files, and Chandra's like, we need to find the lady from yesterday that was screaming like a crazy person saying it was all a load of crap. She knows something. So then they dress in black tuxedos, black tuxes, black top hats, and go all men in black on them. Just kidding. They do not do that. They should have, but they don't. And then there's a line of text not logically attributed to either one of them, so just take your guess, I guess. They're honestly basically the same character at this point. They're like, no, we should probably just go see Kefnet, the god of knowledge, because he's whatever the hell, I don't even give a crap at this point. They are the god of knowledge. And then there's just a line in italics that says, a blinding white light, 3 forgotten gods and 5 altered memories, hyphen. That's it. It's just a line of text. I'm not even kidding. It's literally just a line of text stuck into the story right there. Is it the narrator? Is it really crappy foreshadowing, or what this author thinks is foreshadowing? But clearly they didn't go to like 10th grade English. And then it's not like any of the characters were aware of it. What is that line of text? Oh my god, I would say that you can't just inject information and narration into the middle of the story without attributing it to anything at all or having the characters acknowledge it. But then again, that's what pretty much every single story twist and turn has been so far, so whatever. And then Nissa rubs her temples and says, I still got a headache. This place is making me sick to my ass. I need to rest. Let's get back to the safe house, which it's not a safe house. It's not underground. It's not a safe house. Do these people even know where they're staying? It's basically a Holiday Inn. It's called a hotel. They called it a damn hotel or inn. Like, oh my god. So then they go walking back. Chandra is still pissed, and Nissa is lost in thought as usual. Then there's more crap in italics out of nowhere. An elite ceremony metastasized into a mandatory life sentence. Thousands of infant... I can't even read this damn font. Thousands of infant orphans fathering 3 generations of a people with no past. He came and killed, but did not stay, and left an entire culture with a crude outline of whatever existed before. Once again, who the hell is saying this? Who are they saying this to? Is it to me? Is it the narrator? Who's the narrator? How do they know this? Why should I know this? Why does this person have a job writing things? I honestly feel like I'm just going to fill it in with the Dragon Ball Z narrator because I'm already halfway there anyway. You know, we're at the end, just out of nowhere when the characters are still on screen. He's like talking and nobody can hear him. And he's like, what will our Z fighters do about this new threat? And what about this thing that we introduced 5 episodes back and haven't referenced? You'll find out on the next episode. Oh, let me finish the story for you. They arrive back at what even now the story itself is referring to as a safe house, even though it's an inn. And then they go to sleep. That's it. End of story. What's next for the Z fighters? I'm not going to do it. So let's see. Gideon's completely off the rails. Who gives a crap about Nicol Bolas? I'm going to basically go on an old 90s Nickelodeon show and run a bunch of frickin' physical challenges. Because I feel like it and the gods seem nice. So he's gone. There's one frickin' member of the Gatewatch down, not doing anything vaguely resembling his mission. Then you got Nissa, who says that she hates people, hates cities, pretty much wants to be alone, hates everybody else. I'm getting the vibe that Liliana has the same personality. Chandra's a raging psychopath, and they both can't stop lesing out, apparently. They're both just a bunch of bimbos walking around accomplishing very close to nothing in that entire day. Everyone in the city is a nutcase, and this whole story sucks. So what will happen with Nicol Bolas' awakening on the Hour of Devastation? Will we find out in episode 4? No, because there's 8 episodes. But stay tuned anyway for the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Also, if you enjoyed this wonderful story series, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you guys next video. Z!